So you're not making any sales because you don't even know who you're selling to. This is a very big reason in ecom in general that people are not seeing any numbers at all, or just very inefficient numbers, because they don't even know who to target. So we're currently active in the watch scene, but it's super important to understand who your ideal client is. It's also called ICP. When you joined in, you basically got the form to find out exactly with which questions you can narrow down exactly who your client is, how old he is, what his issues are, why he's buying from you, especially in the watch scene. This is very important to know because we have very loyal and returning customers, and if we don't know how to target them, they are already there. But if we're, for example, doing weird hooks and dumb videos and low quality, we're not going to attract the people that are actually going to buy these watches off of us and become long-lasting clients, because it's a different niche. People that buy these quick dropshipping products are different clients than, for example, the ones that are active in, for example, watches and they want to buy them, because they're more loyal customers, more mature customers. Usually they are older than, for example, the normal TikTok scrollers. So we really have to narrow down who exactly the people are when we want to sell watches as a watch brand. No matter if we're seiko mod sellers, resellers, or we're basically running our own watch brand. This is super important to understand, and most people don't even know who they want to target, but they want to grow their company without even knowing who's buying off them. They're not scraping any data. They don't know what exact hook is working the best for ads, or for example in organic outreach, it's the same thing. So this exact ad structure that all of my clients use, or my students, it doesn't make any sense if you don't even know who you want to target, because first off, you have to find out exactly whom your client is, where he's located, what his age is, what exactly he's desiring, and why he wants to buy watches off of you. If you don't know all of these factors, you're simply not going to do any sales, and you're just going to be left with the statement, okay, everything is not working, organics is not working, ads is not working, everything is a huge scam, they're just taking my money off me. But that's not the case, because everyone that's running a successful business, no matter which exact niche you're active in, they all know exactly whom their client is to the smallest detail. And once you figure that out, I have like a testing phase off of basically finding winning ads. So when it comes to ads, or in general outreach for your business, you have two options. You already know them. You have organic outreach, and you also have ads. You already got ads manager set up, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So it's important to understand when we do creatives that are basically posted on organic platforms like TikTok, Instagram, we're basically investing more time, but we're saving money. So this is great to basically start up a business if you have no experience, you don't want to put any money towards marketing. So we're basically investing more money, because the algorithm, it's like a big lottery, you could basically say, and you can always play for free. So you can always upload free content. It doesn't cost you anything. It basically just costs your time, but you don't know how the outcome is going to be. For example, if you upload a slideshow off of different watches, and you, for example, take around 1 hour to basically create that whole slideshow, sure, it can go viral, but the opportunity that you have with ads is way better, because you can actually calculate what exactly the outcome is going to be once you have scraped enough data and you actually tracked it via different metrics. So if you're doing organic outreach, what you're basically doing is you're saving money, but you're investing more time. This basically means this is great if you don't have the budget, but once you come to the point where you're doing a good amount of money with, for example, organic outreach, you want to invest all of that money directly over to ads, so you can basically save more time and invest more money. But that automatically means more money invested, more reach, more audience, more people watching your content, and more sales. And this is calculated, because the huge issue with, in general, ecom brands is they always think I can do everything organic, but that's not the case. Because if you really want to scale, this was an issue when I was running my own watch brand. I was just doing organic outreach, and my sales were always like no sales at all. Then 1 month later you did like 5k. Then, for example, views were good, you were in a good season. For example, April or Q3 was always working very good for me for organic outreach, and for example 7k in sales. But then I dropped down like crazy to like 2k again, and then it was like 0k. And you have probably seen this in the community over and over again, that people are complaining about inconsistent sales. But what exactly does inconsistent sales mean? You don't have consistent amount of people watching your content, because then you can simply just track out how many people you have watching. And for example, if you have 10,000 viewers and on average you're doing, for example, 20 sales, you can calculate down a number X in, for example, revenue that you're going to do. And if you're always going to do 20k, for example, visitors on your site per month, you're always going to have approximately the same amount of revenue done per month. But of course, if your views are dropping from 20,000 to, for example, 5,000, then again to, for example, 100,000, that's also going to show exactly how your revenue is going to be. And it's always like, it's it's crazy. So the differences of sales with organic outreach, it's not trackable.
Yeah.
So that's why we hop over to ads to actually find out, okay, this is my client. I have to target him with these exact ads, with these exact hooks, and then you can really consistently grow your company. So that's super important to understand. We want to grow our company because a watch scene, it's an evergreen niche. We can always retarget these clients, and watches in general is like the only product that comes to mind that people can buy over and over again. And even after 10 years, people would still consider buying off you. This is like not your average dropshipping store product. So once we figure out that ads is really the way to run any brand in e-commerce, especially in watches, we really get that growth in. And this is what's going to happen to you and for all of the other clients, and especially for me as well. So first off, we have to figure out who exactly we want to sell to. This is the ICP. This is the exact form that I gave you access to when you joined in.
Yeah.
To really figure out who exactly you want to target.
Yes.
You can do this based off of multiple points, like for example, organic outreach, and you figure out, okay, these and these clients are actually buying. And that's always super important. When people buy off you, you don't just want to let them go. You really want to figure out, okay, how did you like the service? What was exactly the reason why you bought off us? Why did you choose from all of the other websites to go with our brand? And once you figure out who exactly your ICP is, you can narrow it down in different pain points. So what we want to do is basically have our ICP, basically the customer, and this customer is buying for different reasons. That's called pain points. And once we figure out the biggest 5 pain points why this exact client is buying off us, we can use that as a targeting for our ads. So once we figure out what exactly made the client buy, we can check basically what is the most or the biggest reason why he was buying off us. And once we figure that out, we basically just narrow down in that exact niche off of his pain. And that's usually the pain most of our ICP clients are going to share. And that's where we're going to see the most efficiency, but also the most lucrative side off of ecom and running a watch brand, because that's where really people are getting targeted and be like, hey, this is me. I want to buy that product because it basically identifies or solves my issue or my problems. And what I like to do with that is basically figure out the exact 5 pain points. So we have been through this process. You basically get 20 different pain points. You open up a traffic campaign on Facebook, for example. After 5 days off of testing, you see which of these hooks were just performing the best with static ads.
Yeah.
Then you narrow it down, basically put it into a CBO. You just get the pain points right here. And for each pain point, usually we don't want to do 3 pain points because with the new Andromeda update, we have to go over to creative diversity. So it's not just a normal outreach with, for example, 1 ad set or multiple ad sets. Then, for example, 5 creatives and all across for the same ad sets. We basically use the exact same creatives with just different interests. That's not working anymore. What we basically want to do is have 5 or 3 to 5 different pain points that we want to target. Each pain point is getting 4 creatives. So for example, if we had 5 pain points, we would altogether have 20 ads. So in general, per pain point, we want to do 4 creatives. Yeah, we have a spelling mistake right there. Creatives. Yeah. We're just gonna ignore that. Then for each creative, we want to have a different hook. We want to have a different body. So this is basically, it's the exact same message in the ad, but the hook is different and the body is different because we have different targetings in general with each different ad, because we have different pain points that we target in our ICP. And at the end, we want to have always the same CTA, because if you really go down into testing CTAs as well, sure, if you really have a real big reach, this might make sense, but in the beginning phase where you're still below 100K, for example, revenue wise, it's not going to make any sense to basically see what the best call to action is going to be. Of course, you always want to put it at approximately 70% of the video. So not at the end, we already know that it's like basic knowledge. If you put the CTA at the end, it's killing your conversion because no one's watching the video till the last second. We always want to put it at approximately 70%. And then it's about different angles. So we don't just want to shoot these videos out of one angle. We want to have different ways of basically promoting these pain points. So for example, it could be an UGC ad. We could do the AI created ads. We could film these watches ourselves. Especially now with AI, we have these great opportunities. Wait, let me actually pop one up. So you probably already know this exact ad because this is like really the best example to give of creative diversity. So for example, this is a client of mine, and we have created all of these ads with AI. So
I've even been in this targeting. I've seen these ads before.
Yeah, it's crazy because like his video got like multi-millions of views, and he's not even, for the comparison what he's getting out of this exact video, he's not even putting too much money in. I believe he's at currently 10 to 15,000 per month that he's putting in. But his video got 115,000 likes, and he has like 8 videos off of these exact videos that perform like this, because We have created these exact prompts for him, and it's just printing like crazy. So watch this.
Why would you destroy a $40,000 watch to see what's actually inside? We tore down luxury watches to study the exact materials.
And you basically get it. It's like a messaging. First off, he's targeting his client. $40,000 watch is getting destroyed. So all of the people that are basically interested into getting these watches, he's having a hook that you can hear. And then you also have a visual hook of basically the watch getting destroyed. And most of the people will stay on this exact video because they think, yo, what's going on? Why is this guy destroying a $40,000 watch? That makes no sense. And then he's basically going over to his targeting, as you can see.
To see what's actually inside. We tore down luxury watches to study the exact materials. 316L.
We study the exact materials, so this basically gives the client the message that he's using the exact same materials as, for example, the luxury brands, which of course it's not the case, but it's all about basically the messaging. I mean, he's selling $80 watches. It's not even a real Seiko movement in these watches, but he's doing such great targeting for even such a low product and pricing that he's still doing multi-six figures with this exact ad.
Steel, sapphire crystal, Japanese movements, same components they use.
He's basically putting himself at the exact same angle. This is called the U versus STEM angle. He's basically comparing Rolex with his own brand, which of course is working well because now he's currently getting off the buyers that basically want to get a Rolex, but they're like, oh, I don't want to get a fake watch because it's not gonna actually fit me, or I don't want to buy a fake watch because that's basically against what they want to wear, and they don't want to give up that fake status. And he's basically with this ad, he's telling his targeting, hey, I got my own watch brand, you're gonna be the exact same from the status as someone who's, for example, spending $40,000 on the watch, but you're just spending something less than $100, but he's still getting the same feeling with that exact ad, and that's why it's performing as well.
Then we stripped away the ego. No heritage tax, no dealer markups, no look.
And this is also building that crazy trust. All of this is AI generated, but he's showing basically what these watches use, why,
so real.
why he's the exact same as, for example, as Rolex. And then he's also showing the viewer that he is building these watches himself, or basically that's just what he's showing. Of course, he's not really building these watches himself because this is all AI, but this really gives that client the feeling, okay, this is something really high quality. It's getting built by himself in his little chamber, which of course is not the case, but it gives off that feeling. And with even this marketing, he could easily sell a watch for not just 100, but he wants to go into quantity because he's, for example, also doing like 2-for-1 deals. Yeah, 2-for-1 deals. But yeah.
Logo premium. Built the Santos with identical materials. Fluted bezel, integrated bracelet, presidential presence. Their price, $40,000. Ours, $129. Same steel, same crystal, same precision. Different.
One very important thing to understand is many people get this perspective wrong. They say, okay, I can't put pricings and ecom directly into the ad. But what he's doing is he's being very, very, very efficient with his ads because he's directly telling, hey, this is my quality. He's framing the people into letting them know this is the exact same product. When you go to Rolex and spend $40,000 instead of basically going to my brand and just spend $120, it's basically your fault because you could get the exact same thing. Of course, it's not, but he's basically getting these people like that, and he's already telling his pricing
he's anchoring the price.
Exactly.
Like a no-brainer.
Exactly. So he is basically telling his clients that watch these, for example, his ads, and they're already interested. He's directly telling them, hey, this watch is going to cost you $120. If you go over to my store and you can't even spend $120, it's nothing for you. And by basically telling already what exactly the watch is going to cost them, all of the people that are going to visit the store off of basically watching this video, they're way warmer, and actually the percentage of buyers based to visitors and its conversion rate in general is going to be way higher because people already know, okay, this sounds interesting, let me check out his website, and I'm basically already ready to invest that exact amount, what he's, for example, saying in this exact video. And this is great because many people complain always about, okay, I get so many visitors onto my site, but no one is actually buying. That's because your messaging or your targeting in the ad is unclear because people don't even know what exactly you're selling this watch for. Is it like $1,000? Is it just $10? Is it straight up out of the what's it called, bubblegum machine? It's important to let your client know what exactly he's going to expect when he's going to tap on that link and basically be forward to your website.
Story. They sell exclusivity. We sell honesty. 100,000 customers figured it out. Lucky fours. Same materials. Honest pricing. Oh, and it's buy one, get one free.
Then he's basically telling his clients exactly what it's going to cost, what exactly the product is, why it's the exact same, and then he's also dropping like a crazy call to action with a 2-for-1. The branding, everything looks super prestige.
Looks very clean.
and he's really branding it super well. And as you can see, he has great creative diversity. So for example, UGC ad, wrist roll, then for example, different or same style right here, but for example, different hook, then also multiple watches. So he's really understanding what it all comes down to when basically doing creative diversity. You can see, for example, split screens. So he really knows his stuff, and he's using the prompts that we basically created for him. So yeah, it's great to see. So once you basically have figured out all of these different pain points that you want to target, and you have filmed all of the different ads, this is great because you directly have access to the guy that is doing all of the AI videos in the community. You get that one channel, where it's like AI. They can just basically go into the Discord channel and contact the guy that also did the ads for him. So it's crazy because we're just, how much are we, it's costing you, I believe, just $30 to get a video like this, and the return of investment is huge if you know exactly.
I don't even think it's 30. I think it's maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, I believe if you have bought a few times off him, he's also doing like package deals. So yeah, it's $20 ad. I mean, if you're filming an ad yourself, it's costing me over 50 euros to just get it edited, and to have an ad like this that is performing like that. And we have seen this exact ad blow up in multiple niches off of
insane.
ads.
It's insane.
We got one guy that's copying this exact style in the perfumery niche, and then I believe also some guys selling blue light blockers.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of guys doing the same, or like same frame in the prompt.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's great. People see that it's performing well, and they're like, oh wow, what is this angle? I've never seen ads like this. But it's important to understand, sure, you can copy it now, but at some point you're gonna run into the issue where, like, okay,
You can only copy it if your ICP is in the same
yes,
framing direction.
exactly this, but also at some point, if too many people are going to use it, something new has to come, and that's always, you want to be at the early start of things. You don't just want to be the guy who's always behind and basically then copying people. You always want to be the first starter who's either directly knowing what's going on, or for example, the guy who's creating his own trends. And I mean, for Lucky Force, we create this trends, and then now it's jumping over to different niches of different products. It's just a proof of concept that this exact framing or this exact angle works like absolutely crazy, because it is also performing like crazy. If you check his reviews on his site, he's having like 200k followers, and the way his ads are just performing, it's something insane.
Yeah.
So the testing campaign to find out exactly the pain points is what we talked about on the Discord call, I believe 2 days ago, exactly.
Yes.
And when you basically figure everything out, the ICP and the process that we just go through, we basically have this exact structure for our ads to actually see them winning. This is in general the campaign we do to generate sales. This is not scaling. So this is not going to be a lead campaign. I've misspelled myself right here. It's going to be a shopping campaign. We do everything Advantage Plus. I mean, of these big gurus out there in the ad space, we got one guy called Nick Setting, for example. They're still teaching the same shit that was working in 2016, but this is not going to work anymore. Today, with a Andromeda update, sure, it's going to be harder to actually get winning ads, because you can't just switch buttons anymore. You can't just go on, for example, Meta and be like, oh yeah, I want to launch ads, and let me change, for example, let's have 5 different ad sets. Let's have one ad set, for example, for watches, one ad set for luxury, one ad set for this country, one ad set, for example, for totally broad. We're targeting everything.
Yeah.
This is not going to work anymore. And this wasn't really working in general, because people make it way too easy to think ads are going to work or be profitable by simply just switching buttons on and off. So you're not going to be profitable just because you have one targeting different than, for example, other guy, and he's doing 100k and you're just doing 1k. That's not going to be the case, because it's always the creative that is talking directly to the person. And with Andromeda update, this really just got more detailed, because now they really tell you, hey, all of this, what you're doing right here, is unnecessary if this is not actually performing and not figuring out who exactly your client is. This is why I already talked about you with the ICP. If you don't know who this is, you're targeting someone totally wrong right here. You're basically paying an editor without even knowing who you're going to target, because to how many people can you go in the e-commerce space and be like, yo, who is exactly the client that you want to target? You want to grow your company, tell me who are you targeting, and from there on we can be more specific and basically figure out even more who exactly he is. How often do you get an answer? It's like, yeah, we want more
Probably
sales.
like 1 in a fucking million.
Exactly. It's like people want to start something and want to do great sales and want to do 100K. But when you ask them, okay, we can do 100K. 100K is basically just, for example, 200 sales per month. And for that, we just need 200 clients. Who exactly is your client? So we can target 200 of these exact clients. And then you're like, no, like, what do you mean? What's an ICP? I've never heard of that. I just want to make money online.
Yeah.
That's not how it's going to work.
Yeah.
People have been framed like crazy to think start in store, start a watch brand, just have the product, run ads, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I can watch a video on how to run ads like 2015.
Yeah, it's simple. You just need to focus on the human needs and their exact problems. That's why you have a solution.
Exactly.
And if you don't know what problems
to solve, you're never going to make any money.
Exactly.
Because you don't make money out of the printer. You always take money. And to take money, you either, I don't know, got to rob somebody or you either got to solve a problem. And what we're doing right here with our own watch brand is solving the issue that someone wants a watch. And we're basically providing him with this exact watch he wants to have. But if we don't know who this exact client is, we can't find him first off. This is super important. So make sure the ICP is really structured down so you know exactly whom you're targeting and you're not just wasting money on meta. So then we basically go over here. We have all the different creatives. When it comes to the creatives, like I already said, creative diversity is super important. The creative now is basically finding your audience. So you're not targeting your audience from now on by basically telling them, hey, I want to target luxury. I want to target, for example, watches. What you basically got to do is we want to have everything super broad. So this should be very unspecific. We really want to do broad targeting. We do a CBO for that. Everything is handled with Advantage Plus because it's just more efficient. Sure, sometimes you're going to run into the issue that, for example, your ads are not spending and you're going to run into basically issues where like, okay, why is it not performing? But in most cases, this is usually just because you're not giving Meta enough time to actually check, okay, this is your creative, this is what's going on. And sometimes they just need more time. So people get
to collect more data.
Exactly. People get way too emotional. They're, for example, testing something with like 100 euros a day. They put it into basically they basically put it into a shopping campaign, Advantage Plus. They have it running for one day, and after that they're like, oh yeah, only, for example, 5 out of 20 ads are actually getting spent. And then you're like, okay, what's going on? Yeah, I've been running ads for one day. I've spent $100 and I only got one sell because, I don't know, 5 out of my 20 creators are just getting a spent. That's because you have not been running these ads for long enough, and that's why you're not collecting enough data.
Yeah, makes sense.
Exactly. Was können wir jetzt noch anquatschen? And also, what's super important before you launch these ads in the community, I also have the AI where you can, just for static ads. So I would always do a static ad split. So for example, a third off of all of the ads, you want to have it static to also just have the creative diversity in it. So if we're just doing video ads, sure, they're going to perform better because I believe 90% of the full content that's posted on Meta alone, everything is done in video format. But if you also post a few static ads, they can perform very good. They're not going to be as efficient when they're winners, but they still can perform very good and they're good for creative diversity. So when we come directly to the static ads, it's important that you always double check them on the AI that we have in the Discord community. You can basically just upload the picture and then it's going to tell you how the call to action is, how the messaging is, and how to also target. So you always have to upload the targeting PDF that I gave you over, fill everything out, and then pair it with basically the static ad, and then they can tell you exactly how it is working based on your ICP, if it's going to perform or not going to perform, so you can always double check. But all of this structure, like I've said multiple times on this video, it all goes back to finding out who is your ICP. This is like basically the grounding that you built your house on. And this is also why you reached out to me. You were like,
Exactly.
yeah, I don't know who to target. My ads aren't profitable. I'm not reaching or I'm not seeing any real results. And that's when we sit down on the Discord call, first one that we ever had. And we structured out first off who exactly your client is. And you saw that you would really have to go deep into scraping all of the data from your previous sales to really figure out who exactly they are, how old they are. Would you say this was like a big help to really figure out who themselves would bring in?
Insane. Like, to be fair, like I've tried plenty of models in like different stuff on e-commerce and tried different shops, but the problem was exactly that I didn't even knew who I was selling to exactly, like in the detail.
Exactly.
That's exactly why I burned so much money in just like ad spend and trying to figure out campaigns, try different coaches or different programs or systems. But to be fair, like we started, but I have a really good feeling and I really see why your campaigns and your past shops and really creatives you created and structures exactly with like, yeah, exactly. For example, like Lucky Forest, the ads we just watched, it just shows me why it's working. It's because you really figure out exact the ICP, who you're selling to, and then structuring the ad campaign onto that exact structure.
Yeah, exactly. And with the ICP, like I already mentioned before, once you figure out who exactly is this, we don't need 1,000 different clients to do 1,000 sales. Usually we have a returning rate of, for example, 3 to 4 sales per month in the watch space.
Yeah.
This is crazy because we're already getting in retargeting or one big one big money tree in basically the watch space is done via the eBay structure and getting clients from the eBay structure over to basically our Shopify store. And this shows how important it is to really get your customers, have a good relationship with them, and then retarget them. And once we figure out whom exactly they are, we can do this on a way larger scale with basically our Shopify store and the ads that we are running for this exact Shopify store with the exact ICP.
What would you say is the average customer lifetime value of?
We have clients that have been shopping with a few of our clients. We have a few clients. We have a few clients that got people that buy watches off them over the past 2 years, and they've been running the store over 2 years.
Crazy.
So customer longevity is unbeatable in the watch space. Of course, it comes down to good product, fulfilling in time. Then also the quality has to be as good as promised as, for example, on the Shopify store, but with the supplier that I use and the whole community uses, and lucky for us as well, we always have a neat and good. We always have a shipping time that's on point, and the quality is really unbeatable. I mean, I was even on a meetup with Vincent in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
You saw that post on IG. You can always FaceTime him if you have any questions about, for example, boxes, and he's really making these watches look like luxury goods. Well, they are luxury goods, but he's really making them look like that they're straight out of, for example, your own room. He can really package everything, and I would say ICP with the right fulfillment done by the correct supplier, it's an unbeatable system because you can just contact him. While he's based in China, you don't have any stock laying around at home. He can still make everything look like this really was packaged by you. You hand assembled it. I mean, he could even provide videos for you of how he's assembling these watches. So this really just shows that it's also in his interest to have long-lasting clients that build great businesses based off his service. And that's what we're currently doing. I mean, we're the only community in the world offering this exact structure, this successful, and no one can copy me because I'm just the best in this exact space. So yeah.